you ever struggled with finding your people in the internet masses? You know who I'm talking about, those readers who remind you why you started doing what you do in the first place. Finding your unique voice is the key to attracting your people, but it can be the hardest thing to learn. Welcome to the Blogger Breakthrough Summit podcast, where in each episode you'll learn how to spend less time blogging, earn more money, and get back to living your life. I'm your host, Liz Stapleton. In today's episode, you're going to learn a great exercise for attracting your perfect people from blogging superstars Caroline Vencil and Tracy Lynn that they shared at the 2021 Blogger Breakthrough Summit. I'll go ahead and let them take over.
Okay, so here is how this is all going to work, because I know that you're probably sitting there like, yeah, that's fine and dandy, but it's just still not going to work for me. But we've got you, because once you find your voice, once you're able to really hone it in and nail that down and figure out exactly what you stand for, then it will come through in your awesome content. And your perfect person is out there and will be like magnetized to it, and we'll find it and we'll be like, yes, girl, I knew it. I knew there was someone out there who knew what I was thinking. They're going to join your email list because you're still speaking to them in a language that they understand and that no one else has spoken to them in that same way. You're going to be talking to them on your email list exactly the way that they need to hear it, touching on the pain points that they're like, I didn't think that anybody knew what I was feeling, what I was thinking, my pains that I was having. And then that is how you're going to turn them into your raving fans, because you've built the content that has drawn them in. They were magnetized to you immediately. In your email, they become polarized and magnetized to you. Now they're like, yes, 300%. You are in my head. We're besties. I will throw all of my money at you in the best way possible.
And that's why it's so important that you be your own person and you don't fake it by trying to be someone else. Because when you're faking it, you're not able to write the exact content that your readers need to read. And you're not able to emulate that voice throughout every single email you send every week. And when you don't be your own person, you're pulling in the wrong people. And when you pull in the wrong people, you have to do a lot of backtracking. So our goal today is to help you find your voice right now. So you can start bringing in the perfect person right now. So you don't have to go back and fix things from earlier on. Okay. So let's talk about finding your perfect person. So if you feel like you're talking to everyone and you don't want to step on people's toes or annoy anyone, then don't skip this. Like Caroline said, we were people pleasers and we've since changed that. And the magic happens when you just focus on your story and your message and your niche. And don't worry about how that message is going to be taken by people. Because like we said, love me or hate me, there's no money in the middle. So you want to plant your flag and decide where you're going to stand so the right people are attracted to you from the beginning.
Yep.
Okay.
Whoop. There we go.
Sorry.
So your homework is you are going to find your polarizing passion statements. And now I know that that's a big, scary word, right? It doesn't have to be. All that this means is you're going to list out 3 to 5 things that you feel strongly about in your niche. The goal here is to get your head in the right place to attract your real perfect person to your blog, to your email list, to your Instagram, to your YouTube, to wherever your internet circle is. You have to figure out 3 to 5 things that you feel strongly about in your niche. Now, that doesn't have to be mean. It doesn't have to be nasty. It doesn't have to be anything that is like throwing mud at the other side, unless that's what you really want to do. For me, we're going to list some of our examples. So I'm in the personal finance space, and I feel like everybody in the entire world has an opinion on Dave Ramsey, right? So in personal finance, it's just easy to use Dave Ramsey as kind of this lightning rod. Either you love him or you hate him. It's either one or the two camps, and there's really not a whole lot of middle ground. So that's in my world. I would say I blank with Dave Ramsey. I agree with Dave Ramsey. I think he's completely wrong. That would be a polarizing passion statement, because if you're like, I love me some Dave Ramsey, and I said, I disagree with everything that the man says, you would be like, all right, peace out. That's fine. We're done here. It's immediately when you read a sentence like that, you know if you are my person or you're not my person, without me ever having to say, if you don't agree with that, you can just leave. Do you know what I mean?
No, and I think that's important to say. On my niche, it's done just a little bit differently because I blog about urban homesteading, which means how to grow a garden if you live in the city, how to have chickens if you live in the suburbs. And that means anybody that's a self-sufficient, bug out homesteader that lives off grid is not going to be attracted to me. So my flag is the urban homesteader, and that tells people that aren't into that type of homesteading that this is not the place for them. So when we say plant your flag, it doesn't have to be I don't know, it doesn't have to be super direct or yes, no, or things like that. It just has to make sure that you're attracting the right people with that flag. You're like, hey, if you live in the suburbs and you don't think that you can live self-sufficiently, I got you. Come over here. I'm your person. I'm the one that you want to read about. So there's different ways to do it. And we just want to encourage you to find the best way to plant your flag, decide what your flag is, and then own it all the way through.
And the big thing for it is there's no people pleasing allowed here. You can't say, I'm going to keep using my example because Tracy is going to make fun of me all the time. I know nothing at all about farm animals. And I'm not going to embarrass myself maybe a little bit later. I'll embarrass myself later. Don't worry.
Okay.
But like in my world, we're going to keep using Dave Ramsey. It would be the equivalent of me saying, I guess everybody could do what Dave Ramsey says or not. Whatever. It's not a big deal. Are you going to tell somebody that you are like, in love with this person who's a blogger on the internet and you're like, they have no opinion on the most polarizing figure in the personal finance world. They have no opinion on this. No, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this other person absolutely loves this big blogger that I follow. Like it has to be something that you're passionate about without diving into people pleasing. So remember, you're allowed to take a stand because you will bring the right people to you.
All right, Caroline and Tracy shared some great examples and tools for planting your flag and learning. I hope you found their exercise as helpful as I did. Head over to bloggerbreakthrough.com/podcast deal to find out how you can listen to the full session by Caroline and Tracy, as well as the rest of the 2021 Blogger Breakthrough Summit sessions. Be sure to join me next time as we learn more about growing your affiliate income.